I'm Maansi.
And I'm Saagar, and we are juniors at the Miami Valley School.
Today we will be discussing immigration to the United States of America.
In today's world, there's no question that America has a large variety of races and ethnicities.
In short, America is a country of immigrants. A common name for America is the melting pot, as you all know.
In fact, it can be argued that America's original colonists were themselves immigrants. They fled Britain for a myriad of reasons, stemming from religious tolerance to economic opportunities.
Either way, immigration to America was extremely common. But why? Why is it that people wanted to come to the foreign land across the ocean blue?
They wanted a new start. Historically speaking, immigration at bulk occurs when life in the homeland is not prospering, like in the case of the Irish potato famine and economic and political disarray in Germany from the 1830s to the 1860s. During the Holocaust, thousands of Jews immigrated to the United States. According to the New York Times, there was a 70% increase in the Asian population from 1980 to 1988.
Hey Saagar, isn't that when Mom and Dad came to the United States?
Why, yes. While you do find accelerated modernization in these Asian countries, it cannot hold the capacity of an emerging class of professional workers.
The story of why Mom and Dad came to the US of A is insane. They left their families, friends, and their lives that they had lived to live in America, something that was not even certain to be a success. They said it was an extreme culture shock when they arrived in America. They left everything for the sole reason of hearing about this land of opportunity, just hearing about it.
How could just hearing about a foreign country be so intriguing? The answers can be found in the immigration influxes starting in the mid-1800s. However, despite the large number of immigrants, life in their new setting was not always the American dream. In fact, some faced religious persecution in America. Keep this in mind as we talk about the American immigration of the Irish and the Germans.
Let's start with the Irish. Ireland was prostrated in the mid-1840s, also known as the Black Forties. There was a terrible rot that attacked the potato farms. At the time, Ireland did not have a very diverse economy, depending almost solely on potatoes. Therefore, 1/4 of the population, that is 2 million people, were swept away by disease and hunger.
Kennedy and Cohen from the American pageant state that the Irish fled from the land of famine to the land of plenty. Of the immigrants, the majority were people who were young and literate in English, the majority of them under the age of 35. These Irish immigrants stayed in the larger seaport cities of Boston and New York, abandoning their farming ways. They were not well suited for this drastic change in life. The escape from the potato famine did not ensure a long life in America. Mortality rates for the Irish Americans was unspeakably high. Also, they achieved economic success painfully slowly. Why is it that they were not easily assimilated into the American lifestyle?
Dating back to the 1500s, the time of Queen Elizabeth I, the Roman Catholic Irish were persecuted by the English Protestants. As you may recall, many Protestants settled in New England when they fled England because of the path the Protestant Reformation was taking. Therefore, when the Irish Roman Catholics arrived in America, prejudice was still alive. Although these Irish peasants tended to remain in low-skill occupations, they gradually improved their situation. For example, they gained modest amounts of land. For these humble Irish immigrants, they had escaped a disaster in their homeland. It was a grand success. Now let's talk about the Germans.
1.5 million Germans immigrated to America during the hard times of the mid-1800s. The majority were uprooted farmers and some liberal political refugees. In Germany, there was a failed democratic revolution in 1848. Therefore, some had gotten a taste of democracy and fled to America to get the full-course meal. The Germans had material goods, unlike the Irish, and were able to migrate to the West. Therefore, they achieved economic success more so than the Irish. They had a number of contributions to the American culture. These included the Christmas tree, beer, kindergarten and public schooling, art, music, and abolitionism. They were able to cope with America more so than the Irish because only a minority were Roman Catholic. However, they still faced some resistance because the native Protestants believed that their political say would be undermined by these arriving Catholics. Germans of the time liked to keep to themselves because they wanted to sustain their own culture. For example, they stayed in compact colonies, aloof from their surroundings to keep their language and culture.
The overlying concept of immigration at the time was immigrants were undeniably making America a more pluralistic society. This meant that America was fostering a nation of ethnic and racial diversity that would later lead to politics serving in a magnitude of issues. Therefore, the question is not why clashes occurred between others, rather, why didn't more clashes occur? The answer lies in the American economy. At this point in history, there was enough wealth in America to not jeopardize the wealth of others. Actually, immigrants and the economy needed each other equally. Without immigrants, America would not have had the workforce to power the Industrial Revolution.
The common perception is that immigrants were always welcomed in America. However, as seen through the cases of the Irish and the Germans, they had difficulty in establishing themselves in the early stages of arrival. Thanks for listening, and we'll be back for the next unit.